Welcome back, friends. Sorry for the long pause. I've been busy with work as well as travels, but now I am home and I'm getting back to my videos. Following the end of this series, I will be doing a series on the Battle of Gettysburg. I was going to release a short video on July 2nd, but I decided the battle deserved more time and explanation and respect, to be completely honest. So that will be our next series, the prelude, and very similar to this, just a little more detailed. I actually am a Civil War historian. My family are. We were living historians for a very long time. But that will be our next series. But back to the Franco-Prussian War. So, our past few videos, we discussed the rise of Napoleon III and Otto von Bismarck, which seems to be the most popular for some reason. And we ended with the French attack at Saarbrucken, which ended with the French victory, Prussian defeat. But now we will be beginning what I like to call the dance of the Prince and the Irishman. This is in reference to Marshal Patrice de MacMahon and Crown Prince of Prussia, Friedrich. MacMahon, born of Irish descent, he is in fact a descendant of one of the last High Kings of Ireland, Muircheartaigh Ardenne. His family settled in France in 1688, and since, all males in his family have served in the French military in one form or the other. He himself being a chief commander during the French invasion of Algiers, the Crimean War, and the Austro-French War, which is better known to us, or most other peoples, as the Italian Wars of Unification. This is where you had Giuseppe Garibaldi allying up with the Savoys of Sardinia, and deciding that the House of Savoy will be the Royal House of Italy, and that's where the King of Italy and all that comes from. But besides the fact, he achieved the rank of Marshal of France. He was first dispatched with main elements of the French army, known as the First Corps of the French army. Though Napoleon III was the chief of the military, the people assuming the position of field command were MacMahon, along with Marshal Francois Bazaine. Bazaine commanded the French army of the Rhine, while MacMahon commanded the army of Chalon. Following the Battle of Saarbrucken, the Prussian army commanded by Crown Prince Friedrich slammed the French forces at the Battle of Weissenburg, Saarbrucken, and Worth. With the combined Germanic army, the French forces were now on the route. On August 17, 1870, Napoleon III, ironically with his wife Eugenia, as Chalons, restructured the armies, naming Bazaine the official commander of the Army of the Rhine and MacMahon the official commander of the Army of Chalon. The plan was now that one army will take on the Crown Prince's forces, while the other challenges the other German forces. In 1815, under Napoleon III's uncle, this strategy would have been better. But in 1870, they forgot one thing. That thing was Helmuth von Moltke. Moltke, over the past years, has been doing nothing but reforming the Prussian military doctrine, emphasis in artillery, and most importantly, Prussia's own corps system, one which will be used into the 20th century. The Army Group, much like the Corps, but 10 times quicker and more capable of combat and occupation. The Crown Prince, leading the 3rd Army Group, had defeated MacMahon at the Battle of Worth, where MacMahon was still in command of the French First Corps. He was soundly defeated by a new Prussian tactic as well. Instead of lines or skirmish fighting, which is pretty much just a line a little more spread out, the Prussians were using squad fighting style. Independent squads would strike all at once. The clustered French troops would not be able to direct their overall firepower in one area. So many times they would be in crossfire with Prussians on their flanks as well, front, and even sometimes possibly rear. This crossfire would subsequently break the French units. Also, the precision of the Prussian artillery would devastate the French infantry, artillery, and cavalry, who at one time in history had the best artillery units on Earth. This then forced MacMahon and his army to withdraw and begin to recuperate, reform, and recruit. The French would not see their first victory until the Battle of Greville on August 18th, 1870, which was preceded by the draw at Mars-la-Tour. Greville was impressive in the fact it was the Army of the Rhine fighting 1st Army Group personally commanded by Wilhelm I, King of Prussia, but also the 2nd Army Group in support. But the reality was it was a bitter victory, because yes, they defeated the Prussian and German forces, but they had received what is known as a bloody nose. A bloody nose is, you won the fight, but you're hurt. Bazaine withdrew to the fortress at Metz. Immediately, the first and second armies of the German coalition moved in to besiege the city. Metz is extremely important for a few reasons. First is where over 150,000 French troops are now trapped, along with 690 field guns. Next, Metz controls all the surrounding areas known as the Alsace region of France. The region is in fact one of Bismarck's points on his grand plan of the war. And most importantly, if the fortification at Metz falls, the road to Paris is virtually open. Metz will secure German supply lines and give them a safe fallback if they are defeated at or near Paris. They can pull back, reform, and move back into the French heartland. Napoleon III may not be the genius his uncle was, but he can recognize these threats to France. He then turns to Mecmon and the army of Chalon. Napoleon III will travel with the army and help relieve the forces at Metz. Regardless of strategy, the German coalition army would not be able to ward off a counterattack from the army of Chalon. But the issue is, other German forces are active. Specifically, the 3rd and 4th Army with the Crown Prince at the head. But even more so, the King, Moltke, and Bismarck are now following. Moltke's scouts had been informed the general of the army of Chalon's and the Emperor's movements. He then devised where to meet them. The name of this place will go down in history. Even to this day, this commune off the Ardennes is still the most vital location in the history of Europe, but most importantly, the world. The commune is the commune of Sedan. Next episode, we will discuss the fall of an empire and the rise of another. Thanks as always for watching. Again, please like and subscribe. Please share. I do enjoy doing these videos. I like to teach people something new. Again, this is a very consequential war at the end of the day, and I think it's very important that we do learn about it. Next episode, like I said, we will be discussing the Battle of Sedan, what happened after, and then our final episode will be after that, discussing pretty much how everything wound up, and also the legacies of these wars. So again, thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you real soon.